Welcome everyone, and today we are going to be talking about why Super Mario 64 for the Nintendo 64 has aged very, very well. So I've seen this growing sentiment online. Okay, maybe not a growing sentiment, but I have seen a decent amount of people say that Super Mario 64 has not aged well, and it is all nostalgia blinding people's perception of this game. Well, not everyone's been saying that it's nostalgia, but just a baseline, I've seen a decent amount of people say that this game hasn't aged well. And I do not agree with that. I feel like at one point I was like, oh, this game, the physics don't control that well, which we'll be getting into, which I don't believe that it aged poorly like I used to. For what they were able to do in 1996 is just insane. I mean, there is a reason why this game still gets talked about to this day. It isn't just nostalgia, I can assure you. It is revolutionary. So, speaking of nostalgia, I'm gonna talk about my origins of this game because, I won't lie, I do have nostalgia for this game. I know I'm kind of setting myself up a little bad here, but I won't lie, I do have nostalgia for this game. I do have nostalgia for a lot of games. So my first experience with Super Mario 64 was the DS version. When I first played that, I was kind of confused that I couldn't play as Mario when I first played that game. Eventually, I got this game on the virtual console for my Wii, and that's how I experienced the original version of the game. I think at one point, I considered Super Mario 64 to be my favorite game of all time, which I don't believe that anymore. It's not my favorite game of all time, but it is a fantastic game. One thing a lot of people will point out about this game is, oh, the game doesn't control well. Now, I could not disagree with that statement more. I think this game controls very good. It feels super fluent. Now, I will admit it is a little wonky. You kind of have to admit that it is a little wonky, but it still controls pretty well, all things considered. But what you can't deny is amazing about the control is the moveset. Oh my God. The moveset of Super Mario 64 is one of a kind. Okay, maybe not one of a kind. I mean, other Mario games exist. This one was the most raw moveset. There wasn't a supplement to it like Cappy or Flood, which I think Mario Sunshine and Odyssey control fantastically. I think Odyssey might be the best in terms of just how it feels. Just, you know what I mean? And Sunshine feels amazing too. Oh, that spin jump is just A-class right there. The moveset is just so raw in this game because there's just no supplements. It's just you, Mario, and you're just going around. The diving is amazing. Now you have to time the diving, but when you time it, it's just oh, it's just so perfect. The jumping, that's one thing when you're jumping on enemies that can be a little wonky, but when it works really well. And my favorite move of them all is the long jump. The long jump was my favorite move when I played it back then. It still probably is. It's just such a good way of traversing the level. It's just awesome. And the what do you call it? The move where you the slide jump. I'm just gonna show it on the screen here. Now it is a little wonky, but when you get it to work, it is just fantastic. And that's one thing about this game that also exceeds very, very well is its levels are just awesome. Now, graphically, this game, yeah, it doesn't look the best, I'm not gonna lie, even for N64. It is a launch title, so it's not gonna look the best. But if you look past the graphics and see what the levels were trying to do, I think the levels were super cool in this game. They perfectly translated the 2D Mario look into 3D, given what they're able to do. I love the levels in this game. They are so perfect. You start off with Bob on Battlefield. That is a fantastic level. You got the amazing Nintendo 64 trumpets going up the mountain. I don't know. It's not that ain't no mountain. It is just perfect racing with Koopa the Quick is just awesome. These levels are still like super fun to go through to this day. Now, this might be a bit of a bias here, but I have replayed this game a ton. Now, not necessarily like replaying the game in its whole, but I swear I've played these levels so many times. Like, it is insane how many times I have played these levels. They are just, I know them by like the back of my head. Like I know almost everything about these levels. Maybe not everything, but I know so much about them. But that aside, I still think they're just super well-designed levels. Another great level is Jolly Roger Bay. Jolly Roger Bay is just this amazing, calming level. So you start off, it's kind of this misty, like kind of beach area. And you keep going and you start getting lower into the water, and then ooh, the music kicks up. And then you go into this cave area, and then the music starts bumping. That is a great level. Oh, and the slide with the penguin is just awesome. And the cool little secrets in the castle, like this secret slide, like that's so cool. Now, my favorite level in Super Mario 64 is Hazy Maze Cave. I love Hazy Maze Cave. It's so mysterious and just, it's so like, I don't know how to describe it, but I love the vibe of that level. And then you go down this like elevator thing. I think, yeah, it has to be an elevator, right? And then you go in this area and then boom, it's this big open space. But you know, you get past that and there's this like area, and this is where you find, I think where you find Metal Mario for the first time, I think. You go in this area and then you collect these red coins. But if you get sucked in through the water, you go back out in the courtyard. Like, that's so cool. Like, it makes all these levels feel so connected. And then there's Wet Dry World. Wet Dry World is a weird level. That's one I don't think has aged the best. I mean, it has this like background of this like city. It's a weird level. That hasn't aged well, but it's another super like mysterious level. When you raise the level up, there's this area that you can go into, and you go swim down, and it's this like abandoned city that's been just there, I don't know how long, and it's just super weird and mysterious. I love that. Yeah, I just like the lava level, the desert, both snow levels are awesome. I love those a lot. Like getting the penguin down is just, that's awesome. Now there is a bad part, like a part that hasn't really aged the best, which is the last floor of the game. That part sucks. There's the clock level and the rainbow ride level. Those are not good. The clock is kind of cool. I think it looks cool, but like level design wise, horrible. It's way too vertical. It's just, it doesn't really showcase Mario's movement very well. Wow, Rainbow Ride, that really sucks. You're just stuck on this magic carpet for like 10,000 years. It is just the worst. And yeah, you're just on it for so long. It is the worst level in the game. But then, you know, you get up there and you get your 70 stars, or, you know, you do a little backwards long jump. So you go up to the final Bowser level, and it is awesome. Now, yeah, this level, you know, graphically hasn't really aged well. You just have to accept that with this game. Graphically hasn't aged well. But you go, you know, through this level, and it's like the lighting of like the background super cool. And then you make it to the final boss of the game. And I haven't even talked about the bosses yet. The bosses, yeah, they're not the best, honestly. You have to spin around Bowser with the analog stick, and you have to aim it just perfectly. Not super perfect, but a little too perfectly for my liking to hit him on this like bomb spike or whatever. you know, not the best part of this game, but they work and they're not that hard. You just kind of have to deal with it. But yeah, the final boss, I think, is one of the most iconic boss fights in a video game. It might not be the best mechanically, but it is just such a perfect end to the game. You fight Bowser, you have to hit him 3 times, and you defeat him, and you get this big power star, and then Mario goes to the star, and then he does this little bounce, and he starts flying, and that's such a good scene. You cannot deny that. That is one thing about this game, is just the character is just awesome. It's through the roof in this game. Like the little animations Mario does when he like gets a star, or like he like opens the door with a key, or when he's like it's so good. Yeah, and then he flies down, and then Peach gives him a big old kiss. I don't know why I said it as like a big old kiss, but I mean, that's what she does. And then he really enjoys that. And then Peach is like, let's go get some cake. And then Peach goes inside, and then Mario looks up into the sky, and he's like, man, that was an adventure. And then Peach is like, Mario, come in. And it's just like, oh yeah, he probably should be coming and get your cake. But like, man, he just went on the adventure of a lifetime. And this game is the adventure of a lifetime, because just the levels are amazing, and then the credit music is just so good, dude. It's just such a nice reflection on the journey you had just partaked on. You know, I feel like we've become desensitized to the ending, obviously, because we've seen it so many times with speedruns. I can't even imagine how speedrunners feel, how desensitized they are to the ending at this point. It probably isn't even very impactful for them at all anymore. But it's such a cool end to the game. It's weirdly like emotional, like I get the chills sometimes when I watch that ending. It's weirdly profound. It's amazing. And you got Mario, he's like, thank you so much for playing my game. It just doesn't get better than that. So yeah, Super Mario 64, I don't really understand why people think this game aged badly. Sure, it has its issues, but I think has it really aged that badly? Come on, guys. So yeah, I think Super Mario 64 is a game for the ages. I mean, there's a reason we are still talking about this game to this day. It is, I think, probably one of the most definitive video games ever made. Like, I've played these levels like 1 trillion times. It is one of the most replayable Mario games, one of the most replayable games ever, potentially. It is such a perfect game. It isn't a perfect game, but it is a perfect game. You know what I mean? You get what I mean. So yeah, that's my video about Super Mario 64. This game still ages well. Mario 64 is awesome.